Good evening, everyone. This is Toyin Umesiri. Feel free to call me Coach Toyin. And with me, my super guest on the Game Plan series is Pastor Cornelius. Pastor, please go ahead and introduce yourself again. We just have to keep introducing ourselves because new people are joining us. Go on, sir.
We say good morning to YouTube, good morning Facebook, and good morning LinkedIn, or good afternoon and good evening to all three, depending on where you're coming in from. Cornelius Hill, mentee of Coach Toya.
One
Um,
day you're going to graduate, Pastor.
listen,
I'm joking.
and no, you're fine. And I'm just grateful to be in this space. It has awarded me so many opportunities where the power of clarity has been activated in my life, and so many things have taken place now because my daily fierce execution, which comes from a game plan and the game plan, has opened up many more opportunities for me to add value and influence culture.
Awesome. That's really what this is about. It's taking the principles of this program, adopting them, adapting to them, because old mindsets must be shifted, right?
Mhm.
Because the mindset that created the patterns of our life, if we want to see different results, if we want to achieve greater heights, we cannot keep operating at the same level with the same mindset, right? So it's about level up. In fact, this week at church, when I was speaking, I said power up. It's time to activate, right? Clarity and then power up. So thank you for going on this journey with me for sure. And then the testimonies you've been sharing, the promotions, the elevations, the appointments, the everything that's happening good for you. So thank you so much for sharing it with me and the audience as well. So today we're diving into module 5. So the game plan, for those who may not have followed us from the beginning, the game plan is the success coaching program that supports my clients and members in my academy, right? So what we've been doing is touching highlights from that program and discussing it openly and sharing it publicly as well, so that others outside can also glean from the source and learn and adapt those principles. But those things are available as a program, and then you have your own personal workbook as well. So there's a lot of work, Pastor, right? There's a lot of change, there's a lot of mindset adjustment, there's a lot of introspection, awareness, perception, reorientation. Go on. How would you describe it?
Work,
A lot of.
work, more work, and more work. But it's good work. Everything that you do, every activity, every exercise yields fruit immediately.
Mm,
And see, that's the thing. When you start having rewards immediately, intrinsically and extrinsic
mm,
motivation are both there. You can see a better you can
mm.
think a better you can feel a better.
Right. You're absolutely right. The amazing thing is to see the speed of transformation, right? It's like when we know, it's like this saying of when we know better, we can do better.
Mhm.
Is that awareness activating clarity? Once people are aware of, oh, I didn't know this is what I was doing wrong, and now this is what I could be doing right, and the decision and commitment, right, to adopt the new principles is what actually gives birth to transformation. So for module 5, we're diving into daily fears and fearless execution, right? It's this idea that the life you're going to build that you desire for yourself, it's actually each individual's responsibility to create that life, right? Like the sooner you start laying the brick and the foundation, the things you do every single day is what gets you closer to seeing the desired results. And if you don't do those work every day, if you're not taking daily steps in the direction you seek to go, are you really going to arrive? Right? That's the key. You want to go to California. I always talk about California, right?
That's your favorite.
Right? There's a gift waiting for you in California, and you're here, right? The idea is you have to get closer every day, right? The journey you're going to go on, to commit, and your commitment to that journey, and then showing up every day for that journey. And there are days maybe you fail to make it, to drive or get closer. That's okay. But if you stop on that journey, will you ever arrive? That's really what this is about. Is the fierceness and dedication and commitment to pursuing excellence in the direction you wish to arrive in, right? So, Pastor, over to you.
And I'm setting up and getting the workbook together. Backing up to the fourth module. The fourth module has to be implemented
Mm,
so that you can operate in module 5.
right,
So tell us,
right,
just tell us quickly what the
right.
fourth
Module
module is.
4. Okay, for those who missed it, it was set mission-driven goals.
That's it.
Yeah.
If I do not set the mission and the driven, mission and driven,
Mm-hmm.
mission driven, mission driven, mission, but drive. What's driving your mission?
Mm-hmm.
Your
Why?
daily, fierce execution should be driving your mission.
Right.
Jesus Christ had no problem with mission and driving mission and having a daily, fierce execution because of the internal dialogue that he had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
His internal dialogue, and for those of us we're believers and we believe, the principles of the Bible and the person. I will say that the
Mm-hmm.
principle and the person, because he had mission driven internal, he had that internal dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Execution was not a problem,
Right.
and it was daily.
Right.
It was, and
And it
he,
was fierce.
yeah, then when the disciples asked to teach us how
Mm.
to pray, he said, "Pray this way. Give us this day."
Mm-hmm.
That's the word, the
That's the
daily.
word
Give
daily
us this day,
this day.
our day. See, the mission or what's driving the mission should be daily.
Right.
Especially if I don't have the vessels, vehicles, or the
Mm-hmm.
apparatus to get from Chicago to California today,
Mm-hmm.
I must work with what I have.
Right. And you must begin that journey.
And I have to, knowing that I'm not going to get there in a day on horse and buggy, knowing I'm
Mhm.
not going to get there in a day on a bicycle, knowing I'm not going to get there in a day probably on train.
Right, Pastor. That's important. I think that's important is that how people get there, the sophistication of that journey is also dependent on investment, right? Some people will board a
That's a good
plane
word.
and will arrive, right? They'll board a plane because success mindset requires you to also decide how soon do you want to arrive, right? Right?
Investment, investment. What are you investing in?
Yes, yes,
What is the
because
investment? What is the investment? I talked about that this morning about taking the time to make sure you invest in the necessary environment.
yes, definitely.
The prodigal son made an investment in the wrong environment.
Mm-hmm. He spent all he had,
In the
which
wrong environment.
right, Pastor, which you and I can we sharpen each other, right? Because this also leads me to the fierce side of the daily execution is that I don't see enough fierceness because fierceness is cutting. It's also the decision to make sure we're putting ourselves and investing our time and our resources in things and places that accelerates us moving forward. Because when we are not fierce, we are easily distracted, we're showing up in the wrong spaces, we're whiling away time, we're skipping, scrolling, skimming, we're doing all those things. And none of those things actually yields the results, which is what you're saying about the prodigal son is that definitely you can take your inheritance, your time, energy, resources, salary, and squander it as you see fit. It's a decision. And one day you arrive and look back and say, oh, how far did this get me? Where did I arrive at? Right? Which is the example you're giving about the prodigal son is that you can absolutely spend all that you have, your time, energy, resources in the wrong dimensions if you're not fierce. If you're
Circus,
not fierce. Go on.
circus,
Oh, the
lion,
circus. Yes, it's
jungle lion.
right.
The bush
Right.
lion is fierce.
It's fierce. Fierce in saying yes and no. Like, I'm this person that My no is my, like, I say no so fast. I say yes because saying yes to anything requires me to commit, because I don't go in halfway on anything. Right? That's just my nature. I don't stay in the middle of anything. If I'm going to back any initiatives, any outcomes, any results, I want to see to the end. I want to give back to transformation, because I'm always for the results and outcomes, desired result, desired outcomes. So it's like begin with the end in mind. If I'm embarking on a journey, when someone says, let's work together, let's do this, let's go after this, if I'm going, just like the lion, you don't go after a prey you don't intend to catch, right? Using the analogy of the lion, you don't pursue only to come up with nothing. You have to do that stuff again, right? So the fierceness of pursuit, right? In a way, it's like you shoot a target. The fierceness of your focus and commitment will determine how accurate, right? It always influences the level of outcomes. But again, two people may start up with the same time, with the same energy, with the same resources, and at the end of the day, may just arrive at different locations based on the investments and the knowledge, right? The other thing that I was talking about, I don't know, I think was yesterday, is this concept of problem solutions. And I'm working on an article right now that I will release today, later today, is this idea that this year, as example, some people started with one problem in their business and they end the year without that being solved or addressed. Whereas someone else, every single day, through fierce execution, has already knocked down 30 problems and they are laying their brick and building their empire with the same time, right? January to December. I've also seen scenarios where someone, this is even real, like someone came to me, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I basically laid out before her what she has to do to arrive. She did not like that. She wasn't ready for that work. So she went on, just like the prodigal son. And 2 years later, she came back again and said, I'm ready now. What happened in the 2 years? Waste, energy waste, resource waste, and coming up with nothing. And I still say that same process I told you 2 years ago. Are you the process doesn't change, Pastor? The process doesn't change. That's what we're talking about.
The
The process
process,
is waiting for you.
and you got to trust the process.
Just the
Uh,
process.
Listen, it doesn't change, but the
Mm-hmm.
person does in the process.
Right, right.
Listen,
But yes,
listen good.
yes,
The person changes because of the daily fierce execution.
yes.
Going back to athletes,
Champion,
the person
champion.
the muscle memory changes,
Hmm.
physiological things change. Uh, Whatever happens in the brain when the that chemical is released, like you said, the loser and the winner has fought the same, been on the field the same time, but the winner at the end, he's exhausted, she's exhausted. She
Hmm.
can celebrate when the loser can't, but they expended the same amount of energy.
Hmm.
Something happened
Something happened.
in the process. And what happened in the process when you trusted it, the person changed in certain situations, not all, the person changed because of the reward.
Right. And the process prepares us to win.
That's right.
Right. So the end game is winning, is outcome, desired outcomes. But when you don't enroll in the process that will prepare you and transform you into a winner, will you win? We want to win, but winners win,
Let me
champions win, right? So, who is that person that you need to become through the process that becomes a winner, that becomes the person that lay holds of the prize? That's why daily fears execution is That discipline, that rigor, their fierceness is actually what transforms us all.
I'm going on now to YouTube. There you go.
We've been at it, yeah. I hope
Yeah.
people are
No,
listening.
no, no. That's why I'm going on just to get the algorithm to jump. If you never get up and practice,
Mm.
let me say it this way, and learn from the rigor of failure
Ah, attempts, attempts,
and becoming patient with failure, but allowing the failure to the
discipline.
forge fierce execution.
Mm-hmm.
You will never arrive at championship level.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Bird, basketball, they said he
Mm.
shot 500 free throws every morning.
Mm. Mm.
I'm almost willing
Mm.
to make all five.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Mm.
But the daily fierce,
The daily discipline, rigor. If you're gonna write, write every day. If you're gonna speak, speak every day.
I speak every day,
Speak every day.
but
Speak
it,
every day.
it's the dialogue that we have with ourselves
Yeah.
that the process does not change.
Mm.
Listen, the goal did not get up. It's still 10 feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
the cylinder is still the same.
Right. Right.
The ball is still the same.
Right.
So there are some things that do not change, but me handling it and
Mm-hmm.
executing
Mm.
the power of clarity after
Mm.
100, the power of clarity after 200 shots, the
Mm-hmm.
power of clarity after 300 shots, the power of clarity after 400 shots. And when you get to shot 500, we're not even talking about the power of clarity anymore
Mm. You actually become somebody different.
because
That's
the
where
process
confidence.
changed you. The
Yes, it
process changed
changes.
you.
Yeah, the process changes us and we become that person we actually know ourselves to be inside. It's that fierce lion, right? It's the power, it's the potential, Pastor. The process of converting your potential
Into power.
into power, into influence, into reach, into impact. Because
Influence, impact.
because
Influence,
the impact you're
impact.
going to have before you start the process, it's like if you're a boxer, the first time you might be like this.
No, that's not the way to do it.
In fact, this morning I said the only way listen, the only way to live life and win is to adopt a champion and a
Mindset.
warrior mindset. Right? If you adopt a warrior and champion mindset, then you will conquer more in life. But if you adopt a defeatist mindset, you will be defeated more in life. Like you will have all those stories of why not, oh no, me, right? That's okay. The only way, because life is a series of attempts, right? Punch again and again and again. One day this wall is coming down. I'm going to ensure this wall comes down. Like I'm not leaving this position until the wall comes down because I already saw the wall coming down, right?
Let me
That's
add. Let me
sorry,
add.
God.
No, no, no. You're making a valid point. I think they interviewed Bruce Lee. I don't know if you know
Mm,
Bruce Lee. Uh, karate. Uh,
yes.
he's a feat icon. Right, right. But they said, Bruce Lee, which man do you fear? The
Mm.
man who has 1,000 different kicks, or the man, no,
Well,
yeah, who has one kick,
I'm
but
perfected.
who has perf- done it 1,000 times.
Yeah, it's just one.
He
It's just
said,
one.
if I had to choose, I would be fearful of the man who,
Pastor, it's David and Goliath.
yeah, who's
The
perfected
stone.
that kick 1,000 times. I keep telling people, David was playing with that slingshot so much daily. Even listen, even probably when there was no enemy, He was playing with it.
Oh,
Daily, fierce
oh, Pastor,
execution.
wait. That's so good. That's so good. That's juicy. Even where there was no enemy in sight, play with your stuff, play with your skills, perfect it. Woo, okay. I see that.
Daily,
Hmm.
daily. John Maxwell, and he's one of the individuals that give me influence and inspiration. He influences me, you know. And I have his book beside me. I have actually three of his books. And he said he's spoken over 12,000 times. And they was like, John Maxwell, you do a great job speaking. He said, but I've spoken over 12,000 times, y'all, in my life.
Wow.
This is not my first. You're not listening to a novice. You've listened to somebody who's has a daily fierce execution of speaking. So people, in turn, people say, as you say, Pastor, you speak well, da da da. I say, well, I get up every morning, Monday through Thursday, for 10 months out of the year, and I speak just here on social media. That does not include my other speaking on the radio shows, which I have to be at the best version of myself, the
Mm.
highest sense of self. It does not also talk about my Sunday mornings, which is two on Sunday morning, two on Wednesday, and then other throughout the week. I have other teachings. I said sometimes I speak 60 times a month,
Mm.
but people don't see those other, or they don't even equate that you're speaking. But yeah, sometimes in a month I can speak 60 times in a 30-day window because it's daily fierce execution. And guess what? I trusted the process, and somebody else has evolved from the process.
Wow.
Think about it. It's what I
Wow.
do. Listen, today I've done it once. This is my second Bible study at noon, Bible study at 6. Today I would have spoken 4 times.
I said something earlier this week and connecting what you said, I said, speak as often as you can. And the reason I was sharing that is that what I found is that in speaking out loud, you actually solve a lot of the puzzles of life.
Say that again, slower.
So in speaking out loud, you
You
solve a
start
lot of puzzles of life. Your thinking is reshaped. I also said,
thinking.
interrog
Ooh,
yeah, sorry.
I like it. I'm taking notes. I love that. Say that.
I also
Solve
said,
puzzles, thinking
inter
reshape.
I also said interrogate your thoughts before you accept them.
Slow down. Solve problems. I gotta write it down.
Yeah, speaking allows you, it's like if you're thinking, I also shared that journaling is another way of solving that. Like if you journal, you put your thoughts out there, you read it. When you hear yourself speak, you can say, what did you just say? Did that make sense? You might think about things and accept them, and they become reality and they become embedded in your story. But honestly, when you speak it out loud, you're actually giving yourself an opportunity to correct and fix your thoughts,
Mm.
right? You give, because,
Internal
and
dialogue. Internal dialogue. Internal
yes, and
dialogue.
I've also found this powerful thing, and I think it's God's way. And I spoke to my husband the other day. I was like, you guys that preach a lot on churches, I only do it a few times. Why don't you tell us to do it more? Because in speaking, God actually speaks to you. You say things you've never thought of before, and you go, oh, I need to go and listen to myself again. Answers are delivered that you don't even, I don't know how to explain. I'm sure there's a science explanation to it. Is that the moment you open your mouth, certain things start flowing that maybe were not even residents in your mind before. But in
They
the
don't. It's not. It wasn't there.
it wasn't.
If it was there, it was dormant. You didn't know it, and then
Oh, maybe
you say, "Did I just say that?"
did I just, that was so good.
Like you said, you say, "Pastor, Pastor."
Pastor,
Like that's
Pastor,
not
slow
scripted.
down.
That's not on the script, and because it's not on the turn, that's not on the script. It was not scripted because I began to speak out loud. That external, internal, and external dialogue. Execution for me daily is simple.
Mm.
I tell people, and this is not about me, but it's about part of the game plan. I have one, two, three people now want a podcast. I want a podcast, Pastor. I want a podcast. I said, okay. I said, I'm about to hit, listen, I say, I'm about to hit live. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I said, but I am
Mm.
because of my daily fierce execution. I
Right.
do this every day, sometimes two, three times a day. I say, well, what am I going to talk about? I say, you.
You.
What are you going
Anything, just
whatever resonates? I said, you know, and then even on that's another situation came up where an individual that does it often could not flow in that moment and be fluid with their thoughts is because guess what? They didn't have a game plan.
mm.
They didn't have a game plan. But see, I get up every morning with a game plan.
Mm.
I know if I don't go live,
Mm.
nobody's gonna talk for me. The
Mm.
historian's not gonna talk for me.
Mm.
The president and the prime minister of Nigeria is not going to talk to me. The
Mm.
president of Ghana, the president of the Illinois distribution company is not going to talk to me. The president of Pepsi is not going to talk to me. The president of all the colleges are not going to talk for me. The only person that's going to talk for me is me.
Right. And trusting that you actually have a message that deserves a space in the world. Here, one other thing that I shared this week, for those who follow me on social media, I talked about the spider. The spider weaves webs.
Mm-hmm.
We weave stories. And the spider's web entraps, our stories entrap as well. It entraps people depending on the type of story you tell yourself and the ones you share with the world. Does it set people free or does it bind people? Does it limit people? It's the power of speaking our own story. As example, the people you're sharing about, the power of your story can set people free if you understand the power and the potential, right? Remember, the process converts your potential into power, impact, right? And influence. You have a potential, your story has the potential to transform. If you don't follow the process, if you do nothing with that potential, the gifts, and we're going to start moving into module 6 now. Actually, yeah, launch and scale your ideas. Is the idea that the potential in you, the potential of your stories, your skills, your ideas, your desires, they're sitting dormant. You have to activate it through enrolling in the process of transformation to convert dormancy, not right? Is it kinetic energy? Motion. Put yourself in motion. Daily fears execution to unleash the power of your story, right? And that power is what drives the impact you're here in the world to have on the world. You cannot impact the world without doing something with your potential. Yes, sir. Go on.
Scale.
Scale, momentum.
Listen, scale is this.
Uphill.
A lot of times we just do this.
Or this. Yeah. Because what you don't use loses. It doesn't stay stand still. That's why I wrote that article, leading, lagging, or left behind. While you think you're standing still, you're actually leaving yourself behind because the rest of the world is not standing still. Or
And the
everybody you started that journey with, if you don't do anything, you are left behind because the rest of them just raced into the future. Go on, sir.
But the scale part, where I have got become stuck,
Okay.
is the scale.
Acceleration.
I did not. Go,
Pastor, Pastor,
go ahead, go ahead.
the
I'm sharing it
multiplication,
on social. I'm
the
sharing it
fruit.
on.
This is the fruitfulness, because I spoke about this on Sunday. Sorry to interrupt. Like, I just want you to speak it within the context of Genesis 1:28. Be fruitful and then multiply. Multiplication is accelerating, right? Replenish the earth. The act of replenishing the earth with your perspective, with your story, with your impact. Please go on. I just wanted to put that
No, the scaling part.
scale impact.
I was trying to convince unconvinced people with the story of me that they didn't have the capacity to receive.
Oh, Pastor, do you want us to take this one by one, or you want to just share everything and then we dive into it?
This,
Because you
this
just dropped something now.
I'm gonna say it again.
Yeah.
I was trying to convince unconvinced people of a story about me that they could not believe
Okay.
or
Do you want me to
perceive.
dive into that?
Dive, just stay right there, and we'll eat, we'll fly, and then
Okay.
in
Okay.
and call it a day.
The first thing is, this group was your practice routine.
Wow.
And the practice is always more difficult. Okay. Here on out, it gets easier actually. This was your it's good to practice in the woods. Neck of the woods. Before you face Goliath, practice with the lions and the bears.
Right.
The
Because you
lion,
listen, as funny as it is, you can't afford to miss when you face
when
Goliath.
exactly. So they were your practice before your review. God
Like
gives you the most
you
difficult.
can't afford to miss.
Yeah, just they are the most difficult people to reach.
Yeah.
And in a way, they were just your practice.
Well, I've
Consider
practiced.
them your practice. And when you pass that test, the next one will be natural because you've matured, right? You've matured past the limitations of that space, right? So
True.
so
So
that's that's
true.
yes,
Past
it's
limitations.
right. Because how does God mature us?
How does he? That's a great question.
Right. It doesn't mature us when the stakes are too high because you will fail. Listen, there are some places you're going to go into that failure is not an option, Pastor. There's the places God is taking you to, you can't fail, right? You're not supposed to fail. You're not
You
like
can't. You can't.
Joseph with the prime minister, there's no failure because the livelihood of a nation is at stake, right? But he was in spaces with Potiphar's wife, this in prison. Come on, what can you do in the prison? What can you tell prisoners that are going nowhere? Give your life to Jesus. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you
Well,
get my point? You are
right.
speaking to prisoners about a future they don't know they have. You are encouraging them. You are speaking to them. There was something I shared with somebody this past week on Sunday, this Sunday, that really was a game changer. Is this concept of Jesus spoke to Lazarus, but the state of Lazarus, OMG, OMG, right? Decay,
Not only listen, not only the state. Watch
gone,
this. Now the
right?
preacher. Now watch the preacher come out.
Mm,
The stench. Not only watch this. Not only the state of Lazarus, the stench of Lazarus, but the sight of Lazarus.
right,
When you're speaking to a group of people, know their state,
right,
know their stench,
right.
know
Awareness,
their sight.
right,
Sight.
right.
What are you seeing?
Pastor,
Because that is will unpack how you execute with that group of people when you know their state,
right.
when you
And
know their
pastor,
speech and
yes.
sight. Go ahead.
And
Just had to
pastor,
throw that in there.
yeah, let's go preaching right now because that preaching is art. Also, with everything you just said, also understand the barriers between you and them and they hearing you call out. That's one. The second, so somebody had to roll away the stone. Who's going to roll away the stone? Because you can say Lazarus, Lazarus, and Lazarus cannot pick up your signal. Something is in the way. Right? Distractions is like the parable of the sower, right? There's something in the way. Part of the strategy of marketing and reaching the people God wants you to reach, you need to recognize what's stopping them from hearing you. One. The second thing is what's keeping them bound. Right? Even when he heard and your words brought them forth, it stimulated them into mobility. Now they've gained mobility. Now they are paying attention, but they are still, right, constrained. They're still constrained. They cannot flex. They cannot move. They're still not free. Somebody's going to unwrap them.
That is so good. I mean, I know we didn't shift it from 5 to 6 now to 7, and which is fine.
Six. We're still staying on 6. Launch and scale your ideas.
Right. And then that barrier piece. The next one is barriers. Jesus knew who he was.
And the power of his words.
Power of clarity. He was certain he could speak to that situation.
Yes.
And it be revived.
Yes.
The power of clarity. Daily fierce execution. Everything. Mission-driven goals. So when he got to the place,
to the mission,
he could scale
impact,
even to a dead situation. That's me. He was able to scale even to a dead situation.
The power of belief.
The first 4 and 5 steps of the game plan were totally clear in his life. And have I lived enough with me to know when it's time to scale to a dead situation? Do I have enough belief, capacity, competency, character to scale my message to a situation that's dead?
Right. And it's about
and make it live again, and make it live again, and make it live again.
Right. And Pastor, let's connect that to David. You sling your shots enough time, you now understand the power of your stone. You don't take it for granted anymore. You don't take yourself for granted anymore. Right? You do this enough time, you're like, I'm badass. Right? Because when you
the mindset of a champion. The mindset of a champion.
Listen, Pastor. Part of the journey, you've gone through the process. Okay, part of where this lands in scaling, you've got to know your power. You've got to know your power. You've got to know your influence. You've got to know that without a doubt, if I want to go after this, I've gotten it. Right? That's the precision, right, that Jesus had. Father, I know you hear me. Let's deal with this stuff. Like this is nothing. Goliath, what's up? I'm bringing your head down. For you to get to that place of public demonstration of your capacity, Pastor, you've gone through the process. And now it's not really about them, it's about you. How badass are you? Your belief in you, in your own capacity to win. Listen, so when you show up and even obstacles show up in your way, you say, who art thou, mountain before Zerubbabel? You are gone. You stand no chance. Right? Following that process takes your potential. It becomes power, impact, influence, and then how you use all of that capacity is what leads to scale. That's scalability. But you have to build the momentum, the snowball effect of doing the daily work, daily work, daily work. At some point, you build up power that you can now deploy and unleash. And like, boom, boom, boom. Whoa, where did that come from? Like, keep watching. It's a movie. Action. It's action, game time.
It's
So you
daily.
practice. Everything up until that is practice, Pastor.
Everything.
Everything up until that is practice. It's like this lady that was invited when Biden was president to give the speech. She gave the speech, and you can see the acceleration, the response, but it's practice got her there. President Obama, practice got into the Democratic Republic, right? Oh, yeah, right? Let me
Right.
just not mix things up
Practice,
so that people don't go,
practice.
right? That practice daily fierce execution, slinging your shots every single day, is preparation for certain opportunity. When opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. You're supposed to be preparing every day for that opportunity, so that when that opportunity comes, you knock it out of the park, right? Baseball, is that right? You knock it out of the park. But if you don't have the impact, the force, the influence to sling, you will miss your shot. And because God doesn't want you to miss the shot, He puts you into the process so that you are transformed to that person, that when He sends you that one opportunity, that one platform, game on. You're going to make Him proud.
Listen. Before we met, I was daily doing what I was doing. We were on Clubhouse, and I was like, I felt confident enough in who I was and what I do and did to share that with you. I was like, not knowing, looking at your bio, I was like, oh my, like Goliath, David.
No, no.
But it goes back to what we're saying. I've been doing what I've been doing long enough. I don't care who's in the room.
Take your shot.
I'm taking my shot. I can help you share your story with the world. Cornelius, I don't need you. You might not, but I promise you,
I'll make it easier for
I'll
you.
make it easier for you. And now, I just shared this broadcast in LinkedIn. I just shared it too. I've
Thank
shared
you.
it on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and from YouTube. But
Thank
it's like I've done it enough. I don't care who walks in the room. Barack Obama, I don't care. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, I don't. I can help you share your story because I do it
Pastor.
enough.
Now, connect what you just said with they who know their God shall do
Mhm.
exploits, right?
Exploits.
Is that there's a certain time you are you are the one that needs to arrive in that spot. You do the work, you do the work, you do the work, you do the work.
Say
Many
that
times
again. Who has to arrive in that
you
spot?
you have to arrive at that conclusion that you're ready, right? You do the work, you do the work, and then something in you, your desire, you get more hungry, right? The lion is that you are no longer satisfied with going after small things, right? Your hunger, David went after smaller objects before, but Goliath seemed, tasty. Like, so you arrive at a space where Goliath is a tasty object, you want to go after it, right? And because this is where that's why I said there's no imposter syndrome in the game plan.
No imposter syndrome.
There's none. Because you will always have imposter syndrome if you don't enroll in all of this game plan process. Because you do it enough, you even chase the imposter, whatever it's called, it runs away, it runs into the shadow. It doesn't exist.
It can't.
It can't.
It can't.
What can you tell? What's the name of this guy? Oh, his name's Like the guy that throws basketball, not looking at the hoop, he just throws it like this. He just he knows
Stephen
where it is.
Curry.
Yes, score. He's like, "Ooh." From any angle, it's like this. He can even. It's like this.
But you know what? He has a coach.
He does.
He has a coach that helps him shoot.
And he
Like,
shows up every day. You can have a coach and not show up. Like that's what I say. I'm not
that's
doing the
what
work for you.
I
I will
show
guide
up.
you.
Yeah,
Right?
this is you. I show up in I'm not bragging. So whoever thinks I'm bragging, I'm not. I'm not.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Listen, Pastor. On that note, please, when you've done the work, speak about your work and your outcomes and what you can do. I say the results you can deliver. Like if you can't deliver it, that's another thing. But when you know that if you deploy me, if you put me to work, the work is done plus more. I work with United Nations, African Union, all these entities because when I was in corporate, the toughest project called towing. Right? I don't play the small. I'm going for continental strategy. Pastor, I'm going for the big one, not
The
one
big
nation,
thing.
right? I'm working with entrepreneurs from 50, right? That's an appetite. You need to become that person, right? So go on. I just want to say, there ain't no bragging. Say your stuff. Let everybody say their stuff. Show me your stuff. Show me what you're bringing to the table. Show me your capacity. Show me your skills. Show me the results you can deliver and who you can deliver it for. If you can deliver it for government, deliver it. If you can deliver it for individuals, go ahead and deliver it. It's back to 5 talents, 2 talents, 1 talent. Just put it to use. Put it to use and get your reward. ROI, return on investment.
Return on.
Okay, guys, I need to close this out. My battery is 5% on. So
Oh, you on
not you, but
Instagram.
yes. So please go on. This is so good.
It is, because I go back to what I said earlier. Let's start with Lazarus and work our way back. Know his state. The people that you're scaling your message to know their state.
Mhm.
The people that you're scaling your message to know their stench. It's awful.
Barriers.
He smells bad. By now, he's stinking. That's what they see.
But there's an upside.
I know there is. Go ahead, interject. I got my point.
Yeah. The upside, which is what I was encouraging this individual. The reason I went there with her is because she was frustrated. Right? The upside is that as Christians, you need to stand in position. Right? If God has positioned you, because God picks leaders amongst his own people. Peter is sent to a group of people, Paul is sent to another group of people. Is that nobody is coming for Lazarus if Jesus doesn't show up. He's dead, he's gone. There are some group of people that you are the only one that can reach them.
I'm the only one.
You're the only one. You are the one appointed to reach them. So no matter that thing, you have to be brave enough to pursue, your appointments.
Let me plug my computer up.
Okay. It's the fact that Joseph, without Joseph, what would have happened to his people? Pastor, without Joseph, if Joseph failed to show up to his appointment, if Joseph failed, oh, my brother did this, I don't care, it wasn't about Joseph after all. He was sent ahead. Why? For a people. Right? A people. Right? So clarity. Let me go back to number 1. Clarity of the intention. Clarity and intentionality is what will rescue us as we go after the people God has called us to serve.
Slow down. You talk. The dialect. I love it.
Right? Moses.
And intentionality.
Clarity and intentionality. Because misplaced impact.
Misplaced impact.
Yeah, Moses was called. Even though he was raised in the palace, God raised him from his bed. God raised him for a mission, and he misplaced it. It was for a while. He was in the bush. Listen, remember what we talked about the people in the moment where he was herding sheep. That was his preparation, because all we like sheep has gone astray, everyone to his own way. But for the sake of
That's
God,
right.
he had to learn. He had the principles of sheep herding. He must need to implement it to lead a crowd of people in the desert. That was his preparation. You may not know, but it was a preparation. I believe it was a preparation. So back to what we're saying is intentionality and clarity. We must know who God has called us to serve.
No,
You must
with
know,
clarity. The
because
same.
maybe, yeah, maybe
The
if somebody else, if another person had called Lazarus, Lazarus, you won't hear. Even his sisters, Mary, Martha, Lazarus, Lazarus.
he never would have
When
heard.
a voice and a message is appointed, my sheep hears my voice and obeys. When a voice, your voice, and your message, and you've gone through the process, you now have power, influence, impact. God still expects you not to misuse it. Right? God still expects us not to deploy it in the wrong place. Like who like you don't want God saying, I didn't ask you to do that. That's why people's works will go through the fire. So people can get busy doing all kinds of things today. That's, remember, fierce, execute, fierce, yes, no. Purpose will make you say yes. Purpose should make you say no. Quickly, no, thank you, yes. Why? The orientation and the compass that reorients us to purpose and impact must be in place, your true north. Because now that you have power, now that you have influence, guess how many people wants to use your power and influence to advance their own needs? People now come for you.
That's right.
Toyin can help us. Toyin, can you share? Toyin, I wasn't made for that.
No, no,
I
no.
wasn't manufactured. I wasn't manufactured to be fulfilling that. It would be irresponsible of me to deploy my power, influence, purpose to move that dial. Sorry. But clarity and intentionality is the only way to discern moments of impact. The
Say
reason
that.
I can.
Stop. Chew. Here,
Okay.
here, here. Connect puzzles. Clarity and intentionality is the
Helps
only
us
way.
discern moments
Help
of
us
impact. The
discern
reason I could say yes to
moment of
you and
impact.
I, Pastor, the reason I can say yes and design this collaboration is because it's aligned to the impact you and I desire to have for our community. This is alignment. If it's not aligned, I'm not deploying my time, energy, and resources to showing up in places that is not aligned. I'll rather just go and sleep. I will conserve my energy and renew myself. That's so for me, this work is meaningful and in the direction of purpose. So it's easy for me to say, let's do it. Well, January, instead of January, let's do it this week because I move things ahead, right? Because I want it to happen. I want this to happen. And I said yes to this. And I made sure I prioritized it in my week. So clarity and intentionality should drive where we're showing up, who we're saying yes to. Because otherwise, Pastor, when you're powerful, when you have your influence, just people are ready for that. And nothing wrong. I mean, it's good. But then also, you now need to actually, this is now when you need to be more conservative.
Hmm. Hmm.
You don't pick every call.
Being more conservative when you
Yeah.
understand, when you discern the power of clarity and intentionality.
And purpose.
when your no means no.
Yeah.
And it's so
It's a gentle one. You
it's
can
so
refer them to someone else. That's okay.
a gentle answer turns away wrath. That's
Yeah,
biblical.
it's no, yeah, it's oh, so I understand, but I'm not available.
Yeah. Wow. Towing, coach. Excuse me, coach, towing.
I can
You,
see you're diving into that. You're
oh,
taking
we,
it's
we,
good.
we, 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 we're going to end this, but I'm going to ask for the listening audience and for me, I'll be facetious. Is there a track or a curriculum or an activity slash exercise that helps give me provide clarity on intentionality and what do we say, discern
Clarity, intentionality.
it, yeah, where, because I'm right there right now, like that right there, that right there, like we could go on for another 2 hours if we wanted to,
Mm.
just on clarity and intentionality. Because if you're not clear,
Right.
even if you're not clear here and you don't have, ooh,
Intention is a
intentionality.
force. Intentionality is a force.
Yeah, like you cannot carry out the daily execution with veracity and fierceness if you do not have the clarity.
Hmm.
And a lot of people, I'm here, but this is not Disneyland. I don't need your costume. I need your service. I need your product.
I need your impact.
Yeah, your service
Because
and your
in your
product.
leadership, yes, in your new
Yeah.
leadership roles and in the ones to come,
Hmm.
you need power. You don't just need yours, you also need others, people that come along your side
Hmm.
to be purposeful as well and to be intentional.
Hmm.
Because when they are not, they will be distractive. They will mess you up.
When they come
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah.
are not, don't have the alignment of clarity of intentionality,
Yes, they will bring their own agenda
and they become disruptive.
and they will distract you, disrupt you, de-energize you, demote you, divide you.
To catch you
Go
preaching
on.
good.
They are
Judas,
dangerous. They are dangerous.
Judas
Oh,
did
oh,
not
oh my
have
God.
the clarity nor the intentionality. And
He wasn't in the game plan of Christ.
in that sense,
He was
the
in the game plan of the destroyer.
right. But see, that's the thing. When people show up who don't have the clarity and the intentionality of the organization, they
It's
auto
tough to manage them.
as as
You have
good
to
as
manage it,
they are disruptive at their best.
and you have to manage the chaos they leave behind. It will now be your job to manage their mess and clean it up. Instead of coming into your life to make your life more enriching, they now just they doubled your issues and your problems for you.
Coach, we out of time. We out of time. We are out of time. We are not out of talk. We are at an hour, and now we have talked about
Yeah,
managing the mess of those who are disruptive.
right. Because they don't have clarity, they don't have intentionality. But here's the key, Pastor: they may have power influence. The more powerful they are, the more, right? The more chaos, the more quick they will leave behind. So don't just align yourself with people that have power, influence, reach just for the sake of that. Go back to their own source because they can, if they shoot their power and influence in your direction, you don't want that. You don't want to be in the, that's why Bible talks about Sam. Don't sit in the seat of the scornful, don't stand in their way, don't be in business with them, don't engage with them, right? Don't, you don't need that. That's why there are so many people that offer me, oh, come here, Toyin, come to my event, come to it. It sounds on the surface, it's plausible, it's rich, it's impact. But sometimes they've gathered to themselves a wrong force. Their followers, you say one thing, they disrupt you. You say another thing. I'm like, no, I don't need that kind of exposure.
My God, Towing.
I'm giving it to you,
Are you?
right?
Are
There's
you?
some exposure you don't need in the world that we're living in now. Not all platforms are enriching. Not all platforms are rewarding. Not all platforms are aligned to the impact you're trying to have. If you don't say no and you go, you get what you get. You get what you get. So look at the source from which you want to drink as well. That's all it is. Some of it is toxic. Don't go drinking any kind of water. Don't go saying yes to everybody. Again, clarity, intentionality. I say, I don't want anything God is not giving me. I don't want any promises. Oh, Tony, I can help you do this. I can help you do that. For what? In exchange for what? That alignment is unhealthy. Pastor, okay, I think I just touched. Okay, let's
I'm
wrap it
taking
up.
notes. No, I'm taking notes.
Right. Because this is where, remember, I said, Pastor, you're going to places where failure is not an option. Right?
Ooh, boy, boy, boy.
Right? You're going to rooms where you can't fail.
Well, you can't.
You can't fail. You can't fail God. You can't fail yourself. You can't fail your family. Right? Will Smith tried that stuff and he failed. Why? I don't know. Alliances, things, right? We have to. I'm this kind of person where I apply empathy. When I saw that stuff, I really empathize because who are we? Who are we? That's why there are some things we need to get clear about. Now, what that's why I said it's practice. The people that frustrate you, that torment you, that make you confront those things, see it, understand it, but don't let it destroy your own spirit. Right? Understand it and empathize with the plight, right? Right? Because very soon you get bitter. Very soon you get proud. Even arrogance sleeps in the bed of these things we are talking about. I'm better. No, you're not better, but for the grace of God. So let's just tempo this thing.
Coach. Okay, listen.
Let's time out. Let's time out. We'll continue
Listen,
Friday, right?
listen. We're gonna stop on that note because we can talk for an hour, another hour.
It's you and I. It's because it's you and I. We unlock these things, right?
Right.
We
We've
unlock these
unlocked
things.
something. Listen, people, go to the game plan. Put your website up there. Please,
Oh my gosh.
please,
Just
please.
go to toyinumesiri.com. You see the
Go to
game plan.
ToyinUmesiri.com. Please, everybody, go to this website and unlock the power of clarity and intentionality.
Right. There are PowerPoints, like what we just like. There's it's a program, 3-hour program, plus your own personal strategy, game plan, workbook. You will sit still with yourself and come up with your own strategy to govern your life and mobilize yourself in the direction of success for you. And let me also put your details, Pastor.
Cornelius Hill, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Hill Cornelius on Twitter. If you want to have your story told, we can help you tell it. I promise you. Awesome. I can help you tell your story. Make it personal, make it practical, make it powerful, make it poignant. I can help you tell your story. Reach out to me. I promise you, your story will leave lasting impact on people's life. Please reach out. Cornelius Hill, I promise you, we can tell your story. I know we can.
Oh, I love this, Pastor. It's always a pleasure. Thank you, everybody. We're going to close it out, and then you and I will chat briefly, and then we close it officially. But Pastor Cornelius is the one that can, like, if I'm doing live by myself, I don't go into this personal stuff. But Pastor Cornelius knows how to, like, doing, and then it starts flowing. It starts flowing. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being here. I love it. I love no, no, no. This is it. This is what you get. Like the people in my life who love me, who know me, who we touch each other, like my husband, everybody around me, they know like what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. I'm that fierce. I don't right? So please just be yourself. Know that your power is in the process and the transformation to convert your potential into influence, right? Being in motion, right? And then we'll be back hopefully Friday. We'll check each other's schedule and then we'll be back. And I told Pastor that I want to run through this, I want to close this out. And Pastor was like, no, no, no,
No,
let's
no,
take it. So you have to thank him because he's the one.
no.
Thank Pastor.
Yes, we can't, people. We can't. LinkedIn, thank you. Facebook, Twitter, we thank you. But no, you can't run through this, coach, because we would have missed that last part.
Yes.
The
Yes.
state, the stench, and the sight.
Yeah.
I would have missed that on Lazarus.
Mm.
How can
Awesome.
I scale
Mm.
when I don't know the state, the mental state of people?
Mm. Mm.
Gotta start there. But anyway, until next, no, until Friday. Friday. Yeah, yes, Friday.
Awesome. So bye everyone. See you again. Bye.